It's really lightweight. It's unobtrusive. The person doesn't even really know that they've got it on. Most patients are used to wearing a gait belt, so it feels like it's a gait belt, and it doesn't really disturb them in any way, shape, or form. And it gives us such a lot of information.
Yeah, and I like the information because it gives us things to design home programs that will be much more effective in information that we can't see or get in the clinic very easily. And one of them is the reaction times. But in working with Parkinson's patients, which Marsha and I do a lot of research on and a lot of work with those patients designing home programs, it gives you things like turn time. And people with Parkinson's have a lot of problems with that specific thing. And you want to design a home program around that if that's an impediment for them. It may not be, but you don't get that kind of information about anything else.
Right. Mostly whenever we do any of these tests, the CAT SIB, the gait tests, and so on, all we're doing is timing them and noticing whether they get to the cut score or not to make them a fall risk. And the wonderful thing about the SenSen is it does drill down so that we can get more information. As Pat says, we get the turn time. We get the walk out time, the walk back time. That tells us a lot about the individual. When we're looking at the CAT SIB, oh my gosh, normally it's just, oh, you did 30 seconds. No, we actually can see what their instability is. We can see what direction it is. And given the various conditions that we have, we really know what the patient's relying on and how to target things then.
And we just designed a program for people who had lateral instability on the CAT SIB or on the TUG also, where they're moving side to side. And when you have that information, you know it increases their fall risk, so you know it's critical to treat. But on the CAT SIB, normally all we get is they went 30 seconds and fell or they didn't. This allows us to analyze exactly why they are falling in the multiple tests that it offers us, but particularly on the CAT SIB. So we found out that increased sway on the CAT SIB projects falling, projects who's getting worse in their disease process for us. So we're real pleased about that particular thing.
The other thing that we get when we're doing the 5-time sit to stand, or whether we're doing the 30-second chair stand, is we get the time or the count, depending upon which one we're doing, but it also gives us the fatigue index, so we can begin to address that. And I have to admit that's something we really haven't looked at that much that we probably need to look at, particularly for the endurance on our patients.
Yeah, and the fatigue index, as we mentioned before, is comparing the first sit to stand time and stability compared to the last one they did, and see if it's taking them longer and if they're less stable during that. And that's stuff we can't get when we're watching patients or subjects.
One of the things that we also use this for is gait. And I have to say that the SenSen gives you a lot of options when you're looking at gait. And you'll get data, but you can set what the distance you want is. You can do as a standard 10 meter, you can use a 3 meter, you can use custom things to enter the amount of distance that you want your patient to walk. And it gives you not only the time, but it analyzes then what the cadence is in terms of how many steps per minute, what their stride was, and then what their gait speed is. And all of those are information that you probably could calculate if you had another person there counting the steps as you're guarding the person, but this does it for you, and it's very, very instantaneous.
And I think that's the most important, critical thing in thinking about safety. Instead of having 3 people have to guard and have to do this, you can just use your voice, tell it when to start and stop, and you can tightly guard your patient. And I just love that aspect. It just makes you feel safer, and you have all the extra data to design your programs with.